All right, okay. It's 6 minutes after 1 Central. It actually feels weird doing the show sitting down, starting the show sitting down. Central African time, 6 minutes after 1 Central African time. Hello.
Hello, and happy Friday. Happy Friday.
Yeah, you're very excited today. Hey, I don't understand where you get all that energy.
First of all, did you see the weather outside? It's been gloomy and grey and just dull for the past couple of days. Rain. The sun is out. The sky is almost, blue. A bit of clouds in the air.
No, it's stunning.
Right, but it's beautiful. I was we were having an off-air chat about when is the best time to go for a hike. Apparently, 8 o'clock is a very late start.
I've never heard of anyone hiking it. I've never hiked at 8 a.m. That is late. That's when you finish the hike.
So here's the thing, right? When you're hiking as a group, the challenge is there's some people don't have transport. They have to arrange Ubers and public transport.
Ubers are available as early as 3 a.m.
I know. But there are certain areas where those Ubers aren't available during those times. So we give people grace. Ideally, I hike at 6 o'clock. That's my hiking start times. Yeah. But that's when I'm doing it by myself. But I'm going with a massive group, and so I have to accommodate people.
So when you start at 8, what time does it end?
Well, tomorrow's one is going to be a very short one.
Oh, okay.
No, it's going to be a very short one, about 5 kilometers, so about just over an hour and a half should be enough. And then afterwards, chill by the farmer's market, have a picnic and snacks and all those stuff, and just team building. So 8 o'clock is not...
Team building.
Yes, it's team building.
Happy Friday to you. Let us know what you are getting up to this weekend. I'm really keen to know, especially because we're getting into the cold season, right? Certainly here in the southern hemisphere. So let us know what you are getting up to, and what are some of those autumn, early winter activities that we have not thought about here on the upside. What's coming up in the show?
BU. Do you know BU?
I do.
Ludo
he surprised me. We've had him in studio last year or the year before. Really surprised me, this young man. I thought because he's become somewhat of a sex symbol, I kind of presumed, made assumptions about the kind of personality that he'd have. I couldn't have been more delighted to speak to him. What a down-to-earth and personable individual, deeply respectful. Really, really shocked me. He really did take me by surprise, and now he's ventured into music, I understand.
Yeah, so it's one of those don't judge a book by its cover. I mean, from Big Brother to Ayeye to now releasing a single called...
To adulting,
to now releasing a whole single called I Want You. We're going to find out a bit more about it. And this shift...
No doubt playing into the sex symbol persona. I Want
So
You.
he's sticking to the brand, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
Which is good.
Yeah.
It would be like him
Works.
if he were to start modeling and stuff. Isn't he like already a model? That would work.
It works.
All right?
Yeah.
And then, look... We have another conversation that we're going to have with Sean the stylist. Do you know Sean stylist?
I know Sean, yeah.
You don't sound excited about...
I am.
What
I'm
was
excited
that?
about all our guests.
What was that?
I was saying, I do know the guy. I mean, I don't know him. I've seen him. He's the DJ.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's dropping a song called Tembije.
Yeah.
Trust the
What
Rock.
is that? Oh, wow. Wow. Is that basically saying trust no one? Rather,
no one.
You're better off trusting a rock.
Yeah, don't trust people. Just trust a rock. It will spare you from pain.
I wonder what happened to him. Shame.
I mean, the song is about pain, power. And the pianos. So it's going to be an exciting conversation. And then South African artists march for freedom of expression.
Really keen to have that conversation with Zaman Chona when we come back from the song. Remember that you can catch us live on our various social media platforms because... Unlike usual, the boy has also surprised me today. He is donning a black and white sweater.
Why is it unusual?
Today. Unusual because it would usually just be black.
Oh, I've got a vest underneath. I want to take this off. So
that's black, just black, the vest.
Yeah, it's black.
Surprise me and say it's
red.
It's
got a bit of yellow. It's got yellow. Yeah, it's got a bit of yellow and white on it.
If you want to see this vest, the yellow vest that will make an appearance later on, do catch our live stream on YouTube. It's at Channel Africa, on Instagram at Channel Africa 1, on TikTok at Channel Africa 1, on X it's at Channel Africa 1, Facebook at Channel Africa. And remember that we'd love to hear from you throughout the show, so do get in touch with us. It's +27 63406 9126. 11 minutes after 1 Central African time.
Get ready to plug into knowledge with Channel Africa Conversations.
South Africa is stepping boldly into a new era of industrial innovation.
This week on Channel Africa Conversations, Peter talks energy, from renewables to policy shifting, innovations to inventions, and how it all connects to Africa's future.
Surely we can use batteries and battery minerals to transform Africa from an extractive economy to a manufacturing economy.
Do you want to stay ahead of the energy curve? Then don't miss our brand new podcast episode, dropping on Thursday, 24th of April on SABC Plus and on YouTube. Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Você é fluente em português? É apaixonado por rádio e quer trabalhar na África do Sul? Você tem documentos que o qualificam para trabalhar na África do Sul? Nesse caso, podemos ter uma oportunidade para você trabalhar no Canal África. Envie seu currículo e demonstração para Canal África at newsroom@channelafrica.co.za. Lembre-se, se você não receber alguma resposta nossa em 14 dias, isso significa que você não foi selecionado. Canal África, a perspectiva africana.
Connecting Africa to the world. The Upside with Nompumelelo Ngubeni and Tebogo Lekhuleni. Bringing you Africa's brightest ideas and untold stories.
17 minutes past 1 p.m. Central African Time. Ndawana. Is that the name of the song?
It is indeed Ndawana.
Who's the artist?
Shasha.
Shasha from Zimbabwe.
That's right.
All right, amazing.
Do you know Shasha's song about how she got discovered?
No. What's the story there?
Shasha was in an Uber and she was having a conversation with her Uber driver, as we tend to do, right?
Yeah.
And she was saying to the Uber driver, yeah, I'm a musician, and this guy was like, oh, I know DJ Maporisa. Let me hook you up.
The Uber driver
set Shasha up with DJ Maporisa.
So the Uber driver just randomly had DJ Maporisa's number.
Because he happened to be DJ Maporisa's driver as well. How cool is that?
What are the chances?
And doesn't that just kind of prove that you should not ever take anyone for granted or think that they are below you or that they can't contribute anything to your life?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When I was driving to work this afternoon, and the driver there, he was telling me how he used to be a chef and creating menus for big chains. I'll mention a few, the Doppio Zeros of the world and so on and so forth, in Cape Town, in Johannesburg. And it's like when COVID hit and the hospitality industry got hit big time, he decided to get into Uber driving, and he started learning how to code and take care of his car. Right? He now knows how to manipulate certain systems in the Mercedes-Benz, apparently. And so all the other Ubers come to him.
Also, just note, everybody, that in keeping with comfort and different travel or elevated traveling, our very own Tebogo took a Benz to work this afternoon. But we turn our attention to very serious issues, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we are joined by Zama Nchona on the line, who is basically the voice behind artists who want to change. I mean, he's the convener of the practitioners in the cultural and creative industries in South Africa. And essentially, this is a significant moment in South Africa because artists are uniting to demand accountability as well as transparency from government, specifically from the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture. But Zama is joining us on the line to talk to us more about what it is that they are demanding. Zama, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good afternoon to you and the listeners and the viewers as well.
Zama, let's start off by really just talking about these artists from various disciplines that you are representing. You intend on gathering in May to protest against some or various issues. Let's outline some of those issues.
Thank you so much. Well, as the creative industry of South Africa, we have come to some kind of a deadlock when it comes to issues around the Mzansi golden economies. It is a system that is designed to assist artists in this country. You know that we have a country that has an unemployment rate of the youth that is close to 70%.
Yeah.
And you know that the unemployment rate in the country is over the 40%, especially when you speak about the expanded definition. Now, the artists of this country contribute a lot into the GDP of this country, and therefore it becomes imperative to create a conducive environment that is going to enable artists to create. Unfortunately, the Mzansi Golden Economies platform, which had opened for calls for funding in October 2024, which was supposed to give the results of the adjudication at the end of March. The minister woke up one day and decided that he is not going to do that anymore. He is going to call for new call-ups, and that would actually be announced in July. Now, as a matter of principle, we are not against giving artists more opportunities. But we are saying the minister must first release the results of those who adhered to the
Adjudication
terms and
process.
conditions
Yeah.
as actually given before. So, unfortunately, what we found now was that the minister was a minister who is now not willing to talk to us, not responding to our emails. We had numerous attempts to try and speak to him because he did not, at any given stage, consult us about moving the dates. Now, understand, there are national festivals that are coming, which we were preparing for. There are overseas trips, which the artists were preparing for. There are business arrangements that are there, which these kind of funds assist in enabling artists so that they are able to create a livelihood. Now, when you are going to move the target by a full 4 months, knowing that we had applied in October, you are now infringing on our rights. So it is the bone of contention that we have as the artists of this country, that we were not consulted and there were changes that were made without us. And we are saying nothing about us without us.
Zama, I want you to get into that forum that does dispense these funds when we come back. Just explain exactly what it is and how government handles it. But we do have to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. It's 23 minutes after 1 Central African time.
Africa in Business on Channel Africa.
An investigation by South Africa's non-profit organization Open Secrets has found that telecoms company MTN has played a role in shutting down the internet during elections and wars in Sudan, Cameroon, Iran, Afghanistan and Uganda, thus enabling governments to silence the opposition.
Interestingly, this isn't just unique to MTN. I think the report also looks at Vodacom DRC as being a proponent of one of these violations, particularly in shutting down the internet during the elections in 2018 and 2019. Autocratic regimes are able to utilize the licenses that they have with these telecom companies, basically to, suppress political dissent. And the result is that many people are left without connectivity. And not only does this affect people's ability to communicate with their loved ones and access vital emergency services, but also at a very basic level of access to information.
The Open Secrets investigator, Lu Vono Ntuli.
Africa in Business on Channel Africa. Weekdays from 1 to 2 p.m. Central African Time. Midday vibes, great programming, and good company. This is Channel Africa.
25 minutes past 1 p.m. Central African Time. We're currently in conversation with Zama Ntshona, convener of the practitioners in the cultural and creative industries in South Africa, to talk to us about upcoming march to the Union Buildings on the 14th of May. And this is for South African artists to get freedom of expression. Zama, you mentioned a forum that was involved in just understanding and unpacking and getting to the crux of what is needed and required for the artists and what government then needs to go and implement. Tell us about the forum and who is involved in it.
Thank you so much. The Department of Sports, Arts and Culture has funding institutions that it uses to assist the artists of this country.
Yeah. I think we may have lost Zama there due to a network issue there. But about to get into some really important conversations, just unpacking it so we better understand the landscape and the conversations that are had and who is represented during these. Because he mentioned there's decisions that are being made where no one is consulted from the creative space.
I think it may be very much linked, if not that forum that was born out of COVID. Remember when during COVID artists were calling for government support, financial support in particular, and that would include financing as well. It may very well be linked to that, but Zama will be joining us again just to let us know what that forum is about, and because most of their grievances have been born out of procedural, from what I understood from him to have been saying, procedural procedural flaws in disseminating those funds, but also transparency, because they are now calling for the adjudication process to be made clear to them as to how they got to the exact individuals or artists that were meant to get those funds, and why the delay. 4-month delay is quite significant, as Zama indicated there. But we are trying to re-establish the line with Zama, and in the meantime, let's take a quick break.
Join Tebogo and Nompumelelo on the upside, where optimism meets opportunity.
And I do what make me happy, and nobody can deny me that I'm blessed. I might be rough around the edges, maybe yes. I keep it nappy, and I do what make me happy, and nobody can deny me that I'm blessed. Self-preservation, self-elevation, these days deserve celebration. No hesitation, no reservation. Go for the big leagues, no relegation. Let's celebrate life, kick back and take 5, and give thanks to the source that create life. To see a sunset or see a sunrise, and see my son born with these same eyes. To see my son smile bright in every grey sky. He's growing so fast, that's why every day I give it 100, now stop at 90. Praise the Almighty, the Father and 90.
Tonight I'm feeling blessed, oh. Say tonight me and my guys we do. Whoa, 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 whoa. Say tonight man no go stress, oh.
Kid, 31 minutes past 1 p.m. Central African Time. And that is
blessed.
Blessed. And we are blessed to find out what's happening in the world of sports.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Good afternoon, guys. Let me start off with football news. The Confederation of African Football CAF has appointed leading Liberian sports journalist Theophilus Kla Wesley as media officer for the upcoming Total Energies Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations to be held in Egypt. Wesley is an accomplished sports journalist currently serving as media officer for Liberian First Division club Lisk FC. where he has elevated the club's brand, making it the most visible Liberian team on social media. The 17th edition of Africa's flagship youth tournament will run from the 27th of April to the 18th of May, with 12 nations competing across 3 venues: Cairo, Ismailia, and Suez. As media officer, Wesley will coordinate media operations and facilitate communications between teams, sports journalists, and tournament organizers. Prior to this new assignment, Wesley served as CAF correspondent in Liberia and was part of the Liberian press team that covered the 2024 Africa Cup of Nations and Ivory Coast. His selection by CAF reflects his professionalism, experience, and growing influence within Africa's sports journalism community. Al Ali forward Nayig Gradisa says he is counting on the energy from their influential supporters when they host Mamelodi Sundowns in the second leg of the CAF Champions League semi-finals. The Egyptian Giants have been granted permission to have a full-capacity crowd at the Cairo International Stadium against their South African counterparts in a fixture that will decide who gets a title shot. Tickets were sold out after just 2 hours of being made available, guaranteeing a rip-roaring atmosphere that Gradisa will experience for the first time since joining Al Ali in January from the Hungarian league. The forward believes the Ultras, as Ali's legion of supporters are known, will play a big part in how they approach the game.
The match was really hard. We had a lot of chances to score a goal, to get advantage for the next match, but we will do our best to win the match and go in the final. The supporters are very important. They support us everywhere. They even come to the South Africa. So we want you all to support us, and we will give our best to win the game.
South African sprinter Gift Lotlela was in disbelief after ending Akani Simbine's 8-year reign and finally claiming the national crown on Thursday night at the National Championships in the Northwest Province. 26-year-old, who spent the past 3 years battling a persistent knee injury, stunned the field with a remarkable comeback, clocking a sub-10 of 9.9 seconds. He edged out teenage sensation Bayanda Walaza, who finished second in 10.00 seconds, while Benjamin Richardson took third in 10.05. Lotlela says he's beyond excited.
I still don't know how to feel at the moment, but I'm very happy. As I told you earlier on, I came here to win, so that's what I did.
And Kenya's tech queen, Faith Kipyegon, is among 10 world record holders and 23 reigning global individual champions entered for the star-studded fields for the first Wanda Diamond League meeting of the year in Xiamen on Saturday. This will be Kipyegon's first race of the season that is expected to see her attempt to become the first woman to run a mile under 4 minutes in a Nike-sponsored race scheduled for the 26th of June in Paris. And golf news, we wrap up with the CEO of TMRW Sports, Mike McCarley, which he co-founded with TGL partners Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy, says expansion of the tech-infused TGL could include incorporating a women's league. For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. This is Channel Africa Sport with me, Fikile Lungwati.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective. Have you been struggling to find Channel Africa?
Oh yes, where can I find you guys?
Well, you are in luck.
Warning, radioactive zone detected.
Listen to the African perspective on our brand new SABC Plus app. Download the fresh and easy to use app from sabcplus.com or the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Or just command your phone to find SABC Plus on your phone and check out all this good stuff. And that's where you will find Channel Africa, the African perspective. Oh yes, this is fresh and easy. We take no sides, none whatsoever. We are the upside.
It's 37 minutes past 1 p.m. Central African time. Welcome to the Upside, a beautiful Friday afternoon. Let's find out what's the latest in business news.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Good afternoon. I'm Nosipho Zuma. In your business news this hour, the latest data from statistics agencies Stat has shown that Zimbabwe's annual inflation rate was at 85.7% this month in local currency terms. Today's release is the first time Stat has given a year-on-year local currency inflation rate since authorities launched the Zimbabwe Gold ZiG currency in April 2024. But the ZiG is down almost 50% since its launch, according to today's exchange rate on the central bank website. Tanzania has banned the import of agricultural products from Malawi and South Africa, saying it was retaliation for similar hostile trade measures from both countries. Tanzania has further said none of that maize for Malawi will pass through Tanzanian territory, adding that fertilizer exports to Malawi scheduled to begin next week Thursday ahead of the country's planting season have also been suspended. Malawi's Trade Ministry spokesperson Patrick Botha says there is no official complaint in Malawi from Tanzania on the trade-related standoff issues.
So as a ministry and as a government of Malawi, we haven't received any official communication from the government of the Republic of Tanzania. However, we are following the developments and we will make a comment at the appropriate time.
The economic freedom fighters in South Africa is adamant that Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana should resign, accusing him of posing a threat to the country's economic stability. This comes after the reversal of the highly contagious 0.5% value-added tax increase, which was due to take effect next week. The party is also demanding the resignation of National Treasury Director General Dr. Duncan Peters. EFF senior researcher Dr. Gumani Chimomola says Godongwana contravened the Public Finance Management Act requirement when he failed to table a budget before the end of the financial year.
A budget is such an important government instrument to ensure that there's continuity of service delivery, there's certainty in the economy and the market, business people know what they're dealing with. But in this instance, both the Minister and the Director General of the National Treasury, Duncan, are unable to present a credible, believable, and also a budget that will find consensus in the National Assembly and in the National Council of Provinces. And we call for his resignation because as things stand now, South Africa does not have a budget before Parliament, which we can analyze, interrogate, agree, disagree, because he has withdrawn everything that he has tabled.
Threatened by armed conflict, volcanic activities and rampant deforestation, Africa's oldest national park is turning to chocolate gorillas to raise its profile and boost conservation efforts. Virunga National Park in war-ravaged eastern Congo is making its 100th anniversary this month by producing 25,000 handcrafted trees at a nearby chocolate factory to be sold in Europe, including Belgium, Congo's former colonial power. Profits from sales of the chocolates are meant to be reinvested in nearby communities. And finally, U.S. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order aimed at accelerating deep-sea mining. It's for critical minerals needed to make batteries, computer chips, and some weapons. It's hoped that the measure will reduce reliance on China, but critics say it will harm underwater ecosystems. The BBC's Jake K1 reports.
The White House has promised that the order will create 100,000 jobs and hundreds of billions of dollars in economic growth. But China was clearly on the mind as Mr. Trump signed the papers. It is estimated that the U.S. seafloor has 1 billion metric tons of potato-sized nodules containing nickel, manganese, and cobalt. They are critical in making electric car batteries and computer chips, and the world relies on China for them. The UN has been preventing such mining for more than a decade, citing environmental concerns, but Mr. Trump's order will bypass the UN rules.
Your financial indicators: one US dollar in Nigeria is trading at 1,000 naira 610. In Botswana, it's 13.58. Kenya, the dollar is trading at 128 shilling 59. And in Zambia, it's 28 kwacha 26. The BRICS countries: $1 in Brazil is trading at 5 rubles 69. Russia is 83 rubles 09. India, it's 85 rupees 36. China at 7 yuan 29. And in South Africa, $1 is trading at 18 rand 79. $1 is trading at 75 pence to the British pound and 87 to the euro. Looking at commodities, gold is trading at $3,304 and platinum at $962 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil is at $66.40 a barrel. Now, for any business news stories you would like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business, I'm Nosipho Zuma.
Business News on Channel Africa. The African Perspective. Join Tebogo and Nompumelelo on the upside, where optimism meets opportunity.
43 minutes past 1 p.m. Central African Time. Let's revisit our conversation that we were having earlier. On the 14th of May, 2025, Pretoria will witness a gathering of artists, musicians, writers, and cultural workers from every corner of the country for the Cultural Creative Industries March at the Union Building Park. Headed for the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, a loud, unified stand against what many describe as years of silence, exclusion, and systemic disrespect from the ministry meant to serve them. To tell us more about it, we've got Zama Ntshona. He's the convener of the practitioners in the cultural and creative industries in South Africa. Zama, welcome back. Apologies for the technical glitches we were having earlier. You were running us through the forum itself and explaining who is involved in the forum and what are the outcomes you're hoping to achieve through that forum.
All right, thank you so much. Maybe first we're just finishing off on the issue of the Mzansi Golden Economy Fund,
That's right.
Yes,
which is a funding arm of the government targeting the creative sector so as to ensure that we are able to ensure that artists are on a competitive level globally. So this is a creation of a conducive environment for artists. So that is what the fund is about. And then now coming to the composition of the artists that we have artists from different sectors who had applied to the Mzansi Golden Economies so that they may be assisted from visual arts to audiovisual sector to performing arts. The list is endless of the participants there. So we have come together because we are not happy with how the minister has conducted himself when it comes to the changing of the rules of the game mid-game. We expected if there were going to be changes in the announcement of those who have won, those who have been awarded, 2, those who were not awarded, and 3, those who were going to be given the fund, that would have been done with consultation with us.
Yeah.
Now we're just told to reapply and we do not know even what was there. So the end game for us is that the ministry must release the results. The ministry must give what is due to the artist, what is due to the artist. And if the ministry still wishes that we artists who did not have an opportunity to apply the first time around must apply again, we do not have any problems with that. That must continue. But that should not be a replacement of what should have been done in March. That should be an extension, not a replacement.
All right. Zama, the minister's response has been quite flippant, from what I understand, and quite dismissive, right? Which has then sparked even further outrage amongst the artists who feel that their concerns are not being addressed. In your march to the union buildings, what are some, will there be a memorandum of demands that's being presented to the minister? And just kindly, you kind of alluded to some of them, but also give us a reaction to what the minister's response has been to the artists.
Thank you. It is unfortunate, very unfortunate, that the minister is a promising minister. Minister Mackenzie is a minister that looks like an individual who has a posture that wants to work. He has a posture, especially when he came in, that said, I want to listen to you. I want to understand your plight, and I want us to work through it till we get to its logical conclusion. So it is very disappointing that now we're finding ourselves, after numerous communication, that we have actually sent to the minister, that the minister now is not responding, not willing to give us audience, to an extent that now we must actually use other means just to get his attention. We must go to the media when he could have called us to a boardroom. We must march just to get his attention. So this is why we are not happy. In fact, we are angry. We're angry that the people we have elected, the people who have entrusted with power, when it comes to time to take care of the electorate, they now shun away, they give us excuses instead of giving us solutions. And at this stage, at the very least, we're just asking for an audience.
And Zama, how can ordinary, everyday South Africans stand in solidarity and support right now?
Thank you so much. The march on the 14th of May is not limited to artists alone. We know that we appreciate art in different ways.
Yeah.
Even the platforms that we are in right now, there are artistic forms that take part. We feel that if South Africans could assist us in sending the loudest message on the day by joining us on the day, so that the minister, at the very least, the minister must give us an audience. And what is ideal is that the minister must release the results. So South Africans are welcomed from all walks of life to join the artists of this country. You know, I was just looking at the numbers. You are looking at about a 2.97% contribution to the GDP, which is 161 billion rand.
It's quite significant.
How do you deny people with such a contribution when we can't even right now be able to assist the finance ministry so that it is able to take care of the soldiers that are dying in the DRC? How can you deny people who have such a contribution to the economy? This could be one of the solutions that we are looking into so that the fiscal could look a little bit healthier. So this is why we are saying it is not just an opportunistic or something that we could say is a self-centeredness of artists wanting attention. But when you assist the arts, in fact, even the department, it is calling it the new gold. If it is true by its word, then it should assist artists instead of actually joining in the marginalization of artists.
Zama, so much criticism has been leveled to artists themselves who've been recipient of various types of funds from the department, right? And some of this criticism includes just the misuse of funds, the repeated receipt or beneficiary, or rather they are specific artists that continue to be beneficiaries of specific funds from the department. How do you ensure, and I suppose through your call for transparency, this is one way of ensuring that the department isn't repeatedly giving the same artists money or access to opportunities. But let's talk about the misuse of funds as well for, from the perspective of artists who then repeatedly want handouts, so to speak, from government.
Thank you so much. Let's first say we welcome the investigation by the minister. It can be that our fellow artists would want to monopolize the system for self-enrichment. As the artists of South Africa, we are against any form of corruption. And all those individuals who are a subject of his investigation must be subjected to the law and if found guilty, let the law take its course. But we do not believe that it is proper to then punish the whole industry because of a handful of people. The majority of artists, the majority of artists, Nkandla, the majority of artists in Limpopo, Mpumalanga, in the Free State, did not participate in those activities. Now, why would you then subject them to the same scrutiny when they were nowhere near the activities? You know the people who you say have done wrong. Deal with them, but do not then punish the whole industry because of that. So with this, we are saying, even if it is our colleagues and our friends in the industry who have done wrong, if the minister has tangible evidence, he must act on them. But without evidence, please let him stop accusing people. Without tangible evidence, he must refrain from tarnishing the good names of artists. For instance, I watched a parliamentary session yesterday, which was on November, where SIFSA actually appeared before SCOPA. When they appeared before the Parliamentary Committee on Sports, Recreation, Arts and Culture, the department, in fact, it was Dr. Cynthia Khumalo, who said, SIFSA is compliant. Now, how is it that a DG in the very same directorate that the minister is actually leading would actually exonerate a federation like SIFSA when the minister is saying that this particular federation is non-compliant? So for us, these are the mixed messages that we would like to sit down with him with his entourage or administration, so that they actually say to us, which one should we believe? Should we believe the DG who says SIFSA is compliant, or should we believe the minister? And if the minister says he is the one who should be believed, he must produce the evidence. But we are saying we are not against the investigation, but not until you find them guilty, they are presumed innocent.
And Zama, just, I guess in closing, do you feel that the creative space in itself, the creative industry, is one that is very much disrespected, in as much as great conversations are had and the intentions are good, and you yourself mentioned how much of an impact financially it makes to the finances or to the economy of South Africa, and the department itself saying there's gold in this? But do you think that in terms of practically applying these steps and measures and programs to elevate the industry is being frowned upon, and that as a whole it feels like the industry is being disrespected?
It is unfortunate that even as we grow up, if you want to be a musician, you are not taken as a serious individual. If you want to be a sculptor, you are not taken seriously. Because I think somebody has hidden the truth about the contribution of the industry to the well-being of this country. We all know the government does not have jobs for all of us. We all know that the private sector does not have jobs for all of us. We are 62 million in this country, and there is no one company that would have space. So as Thabo Mbeki, the former president, had said, Vuka uzenzele. Now, artists are doing just that. Why is it that they cannot get the recognition that they deserve? Why is it that we have to fight hard for being recognized when we are carrying gold? I think there needs to be a mental shift in this country. There needs to be a political decision and shift towards looking at industries such as the creative industries. The creative industries of South Africa can actually contribute towards emancipating the people of this country, but there must be a political intention to actually deal with that. And without that, we are going to find ourselves being second cousins in our own country. We are going to find ourselves being limited to those who must pick up the crumbs that fall off the table when we are carrying gold ourselves.
Zama, everything of the best for your march next month, and perhaps, we'll reconvene with you post it to find out if any changes have been implemented. But thank you very much for your time this Friday. Have a lovely weekend.
Thank you so much to you and the viewers out there. Thank you.
That is Zaman Chona, convener of the practitioners in the cultural and creative industries in South Africa. It continues to be a really sad one, right? The plight of artists in this country.
Big time, big time, big time. You listen to those numbers. The contribution that the creative industry has on the economy.
Yeah.
Right? Yet it's still looked as you are just people who go on stage and perform, and you don't really do much. We don't have to respect you. We don't have to give you proper policies and protection as artists. So you're sort of just a floating, it's unfair. It's very sad that we're still having this conversation in 2025.
Tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
Your 17-year-old son comes to you and says, I want to be a rapper. What's your reaction?
I now understand. Growing up, I never used to understand why actors, artists, in this creative space, when asked that very question, I now understand why they used to say no. I would say no to my child, because I have seen the industry, and I don't think it's one that will protect you, that will make you feel seen, that will make you feel secure, and make you feel valuable and valued. So personally, for me, I've seen enough in the creative space, and unless there's change and unless we build our own little ecosystems where we can protect one another, as it stands, I would definitely say to them, my child, no.
Really?
No.
Oh, that gave me chills.
Really? What would you say to your daughter?
The world is a jungle. Every industry. I think every industry is tough. I do.
Enough.
But I think you make a good point about having structure.
Yeah.
At least let it be unionized.
Absolutely.
There are certain structures that need to be in place for any sector or industry to operate optimally. And shame, industry is just not one of them.
It's not one of them. I mean, just look at the basics, the most basics of things, right? If you want to be a doctor right now, if you wanted to be a lawyer, an accountant, you know exactly where to go and find for opportunities. You can go search, I'm looking for a job, blah, 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 blah.
I mean, if you're a doctor, you probably won't find a job.
Well, that's a different story. But for
that's why I say every industry is tough.
Every industry is tough. But for the creatives, where do you go? Where do you search?
You have to know
a person who knows someone.
You have to have that one person.
Can we just have it structured?
It's all just so dependent on who feels like doing what today.
No wonder the parents are like, my child, you want to go into that? No, just have a backup
plan.
Have a backup. Have something solid.
They never really use the backup plan. Jwalane Tulo, we like you enough to give you an opportunity at 2:00 Central African time to do the news.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Thank you, Nompumelelo. Top stories. Asawa, Senegal's top court rejects move by lawmakers to revise an amnesty law, and members of the Palestine Solidarity Campaign in South Africa protest outside the U.S. consulate. Good afternoon. Senegal's top court has rejected a move by lawmakers to revise an amnesty law that would have paved the way for possible prosecutions over the deaths of dozens of protesters during anti-government demonstrations between 2021 and 2024. The West African country's parliament had approved revisions earlier this month to the law, which was passed in March 2024 under former President Macky Sall to pardon offences committed by both security forces and protesters. Riots broke out across Senegal in the run-up to elections on the 24th of March last year, fueled by concerns that Sall was muzzling his opponents and seeking to stay in power beyond the end of his mandate. According to Amnesty International, at least 65 people were killed, mostly by bullets. Members of the Palestine Solidarity Campaign, or PSC, in South Africa are protesting outside the U.S. consulate in Cape Town in the Western Cape province. Their demands include an immediate end to the ongoing conflict in Gaza and the expulsion of the Israeli ambassador. PSC also wants an end to the prosecution of South Africans fighting for Israel. Andile Mbanjwa has the story.
The protest follows that of November last year, where PSC members gathered at the consulate demanding the U.S. government to ensure a full unconditional ceasefire and stop the killing in Gaza. PSC coordinator Yusuf Chikte says the U.S. consulate has failed to respond to their urgent needs. He says the United States continues to defy the United Nations and international law by providing political cover and military support to Israel. Chikte says they also want the U.S. government to uphold international law and implement all relevant UN resolutions to end Israel's illegal occupation and apartheid system. There is a strong police presence.
Congo and Rwanda plan to sign an agreement in Washington today to promote peace and economic development. This is part of a diplomatic push to end violence after an advance by M23 rebels in eastern Congo. The agreement, expected to be signed by the two countries' foreign ministers at a ceremony with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, comes as Washington is in talks to invest billions of dollars in mineral-rich Congo. Rwanda said this week it was also speaking to Washington about a possible mineral deal. Pope Francis will be remembered as an outspoken supporter of church reform and as a champion of the poor, among others. This is according to some residents of Mbombela in South Africa's Mpumalanga province. Pope Francis died at the age of 88 on Easter Monday. World leaders and the Catholic faithful will descend on Vatican City tomorrow to bid a final farewell to the Pope. Some residents say they believe that his legacy will live forever.
Being humble is to be a son of God. And that, to me, is what the Pope is. Never outspoken, always looking for the marginalized.
We have never actually met him in person, but we do keep contact with the Holy Father through prayers and messages that he sends.
There are issues which he brought up to make this church grow, to be strong, and there's also others who didn't like his thoughts, because he was very strong man. He left the very, very big legacy.
The global health community is marking World Immunization Week under the theme Immunization for All is Humanly Possible. The annual awareness campaign aims to ensure even more children, adolescents, adults and their communities are protected against vaccine-preventable diseases. Over the last 50 years, essential vaccines have saved at least 154 million lives. Meanwhile, it's also World Malaria Day today, which recognizes global efforts to control malaria. Manager for Extended Immunization Program at South Africa's Department of Health, Elizabeth Massetti.
Government needs to work together, also with private sector. And one of the most important things is to have unified messaging. We need to go out and across all sectors with the same voice. We need to, very important, reinforce science-based information. So we need to provide people with evidence, with the facts, and also focusing on the personal benefit of vaccines. And this will help counter all this misinformation. Then very important is community-based strategies. We need to make sure that the initiative is localized.
Recapping the top story this hour, Senegal's top court has rejected a move by lawmakers to revise an amnesty law that would have paved the way for possible prosecutions over the deaths of dozens of protesters during anti-government demonstrations between 2021 and 2024. For any news stories you would like to share with us, please do send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on newsroom at channelafrica.co.za or send us call us on +27 11714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I'm Cholani Tulo Wepe.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
minutes after 2 Central African time. The second hour of this Friday edition of The Upside. Listen, he has done it. Okay? He has done it. I don't know how long it will last for, but he did take off his sweater, the black and white sweater. He's now in a vest that really does not have any color. A little bit of yellow. It's got like a stripe of yellow. But we'll take it. We'll take it. It's a little bit of color outside of the black and white that Tebogo usually wears.
I had blue yesterday.
That doesn't count. We were outdoors. We weren't live streaming on Channel Africa on YouTube, at Channel Africa 1 on Instagram, at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok, at Channel Africa 1 on X, at Channel Africa on Facebook. So if you want to see Tebogo in his vest, with his cap worn backward, do head on over to our live stream.
Cool kid vibes.
Cool. Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah, absolutely. There was a random thought that came to mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, the person who named a few, fruits and animals must have been colorblind. I think of certain animals. Black mamba
is not black.
It's very gray.
Yeah.
Extremely gray. Even the mouth is very purple on the inside. It's not black.
That is a very random thought.
That was.
I'm just thinking about that was a
really colorblind person.
Thinking about that, yeah.
And then red onions.
They're red. They're not red. They're purple.
Do you see what I mean?
They're purple.
Colorblind. You're not colorblind, are you?
No.
Are you sure?
No, spot on. What color?
What color do you have on?
Yeah. What color is this? I'm asking you.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
That's almost orange. It's orange. Yeah, but it's orange with black, so it's brown.
Definitely. I've never met a man who's good with colors, man. You really disappointed me there.
It's black. It's orange with some black.
What color is this?
It's brown.
My bag.
Oh, no, that's maroon.
These are the same.
It's not the same.
They are different shades of the same color. I am wearing maroon.
Is that maroon that you have on?
But this is a burgundy shirt.
Okay, wait.
It's just a little bit on the darker side. My shoes are burgundy. My bag.
Okay, I can definitely see the shoes.
Yeah, this is also, it falls under the...
At a distance because of the light.
Oh.
It seems brownish.
Excuses.
Maybe I'm colorblind.
Yeah. You could have very well been the one who named Black Mamba and Red Onion. Thank you very much. Coming up in this hour, we are taking a lesson. Last week set the standard in terms of our...
Don't do that. Like now you make it seem like it's a standard that can't be reached.
No. I'm just saying, Static J, DJ better come through this afternoon.
Last week's one was an absolute. And for me, not being much of a dancer, I was moving the whole time.
You were up on your feet as well.
Oh, I was actually on my feet. Not a lot of songs get me to do that, or playlists.
Yeah.
So today's one has quite a bit of a task, shoes to fill there.
Definitely. We're going to be having DJ Static Jay on the line, and he's going to be explaining what kind of mix he's put together for us. But we'll be having him just after this.
Este é o Caleidoscópio de Canal África, com Remo Samo e João Yabalá.
O surto da cólera em Angola tem causado grande preocupação, afetando já mais de metade das províncias do país. Simultaneamente, a Agência dos Estados Unidos para o Desenvolvimento Internacional, USAID, um dos maiores doadores mundiais de assistência humanitária, decidiu não priorizar os países com maior incidência de malária. Para discutirmos as causas do alastramento da cólera em Angola e os impactos dessa decisão da USAID, convidamos o Dr. Jeremias Agostinho, médico e mestre em saúde pública, para partilhar a sua visão sobre o tema.
A doença, nesse momento, representa o maior risco de saúde pública que nós temos. Nos últimos anos, a nossa preocupação esteve sempre centrada com os casos de malária, os casos de tuberculose e também de infecção por VIH-Sida. A forma como, em pouco menos de 2 meses, os casos de cólera vêm aumentando, acaba por representar, nessa altura, um dos maiores desafios que o país tem. É expectável que, nesta fase, o número de casos venha a aumentar.
De segunda a sexta-feira, das 20 às 21 horas locais, este é o Caleidoscópio de Canal África.
The Midnight Snack every Monday, 12 to 3 a.m. with Chanduko Ligege.
That is just me trying to imagine myself as a backup singer for Zonke because her music is just beautiful. As the song was playing, I was just, moving like a backup singer. You know how they are. They with their hands being so dramatic and, putting that spice into the song. So the song is called Say Now and we love it here on the Midnight Snack. I hope you also love it.
Let's talk love, intimacy, and relationships on the Midnight Snack with Chanduko Ligege. Connecting Africa to the world. The Upside with Nompumelelo Ngubeni and Tebogo Lekhuleni. Bringing you Africa's brightest ideas and untold stories.
13 minutes past 1 p.m. Central African Time. Happy Friday! Beautiful weather outside. I hope you're having a fantastic time enjoying the weather. I know some people are about to knock off, but also doubly exciting because a lot of people got paid today. It's the 25th.
Oh.
So that's why there's an excitement in the air when you're driving.
Who get paid on the 26th got paid today, no?
Yeah, because it would have been a weekend.
I forgot all about you all who get paid on the 25th. Yeah, wow. Don't misuse your money, guys. Just be a little bit responsible. It's still a month to go. Don't get too excited.
Wow. Really?
Is that not what you say to people? No. Okay, blow it then. I mean, then don't have money mid-month.
There's someone who said, here's a fantastic top tip when you get paid.
Yeah.
Pay yourself first.
No, that's standard.
Eat something. Buy something. Spoil yourself. Do something for yourself
if
first.
If that's what paying yourself looks like, eating something, then all right. I would have thought that's every day you need to eat.
Yeah, but it's not every day we go to a fancy restaurant and do fine dining, is it? Oh, you do? Oh, okay.
I just make provision for it. Not every day. Just make provision for it in the month. You have to still live well.
I tell you who will create a perfect playlist and an ambience when you're going to your next fine dining experience.
I don't know. We'll find out from him if he does fine dining playlist. Shame, DJ Static. He's probably like, no.
We're giving him a new, something extra to add there to the portfolio. DJ Static J is joining us on the line to give us our mix for Friday, which I'm very excited about on the Upside. DJ Static J, thank you so much for your time. Welcome to the Upside.
Thank you guys. Very much privileged to be here today, man.
Lovely having you. What can we look forward to today's mix? Because knowing you, it will not be for fine dining.
No, it's actually a fusion of. It's more like a South African production.
Nice.
It's just a fusion of the old songs and some deep house. So I think I don't have to explain much. You just have to hear for it.
No, absolutely. And speaking about South African artists, we were just on a call to a representative of an organization that will be marching to the union buildings next month just to represent the concerns of South African artists. So it's good that you are making sure that they're getting their royalties, through this mix. Let us know what you're up to this weekend.
Well, today I don't have any gigs, but from tomorrow onwards, I'm going to have some studio sessions with my friends. I am also a music producer, by the way. Yeah, so we're going to have a studio session this weekend.
Okay, so you're working on a couple of projects.
Yeah. And I'm intending to release an EP maybe this year. Like, it's been a while since I've started this music production.
Yeah.
And I have 20 years now since I started playing.
Oh, man, congratulations.
Thank you.
Static, it must not have been easy. 20 years is a long time, so you've been through the ups and downs of the music industry.
Yeah.
What have been some of your highs?
Look, it's not easy, man, to pull through, man. There's always some gatekeeping, those music industry politics, So, but they are just always on a positive note, One day will be one day.
Absolutely.
Make it, yeah.
Absolutely. Static, do you go about mixing, because we asked you, hey, create the most epic mix for the upside. Do you mix differently for radio, a radio playlist or a radio mix, compared to doing it live? Is there a different energy you want to tap to when it's live, or can the same mix that we're about to hear on radio, would that be something that we would expect you to be playing live as well?
I do live mixes. I do record my live mixes. So whatever you're going to hear today, it's what I do on a daily basis.
All right. DJ Static J, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Everything of the best for the EP coming up later this year. And thank you for putting together the mix for us as well. Where can we find you on social media?
Yeah.
Well, on Facebook, it's Static J. Instagram, also Static J. And then at TikTok, it's also Static J. Yeah.
Stunning. Thank you very much. And let's play out with that mix by Static J DJ. Check him out on social media.
Two simple words by a sometimes distant poet, trying to find his way through misty fogs of thought. His words intertwined like a kaleidoscope in his mind, and nothing seemed to click until Fatima. I'm inspired by the rhythms of my solitude and the pulsations in my chest that beats louder and louder with each passing breath until there's nothing left but just to write it down. Guided by my muse, and I don't even know her name, but someone helped me through these metaphors. Something got me through this verse. Well, maybe her name is inspiration, and she lays upon my bed and creeps into my head and fill my mind with funky thoughts, designing all my dreams, hopes, and desires. I'm inspired. I'm inspired. I'm inspired. I'm inspired. I'm inspired. I'm inspired. I'm inspired by the moon, the earth's disco ball. I'm inspired by the winter, summer, spring, and fall. And words pop into my mind like rain against glass and burn through my soul, first slow and then fast. I hear sounds and feel feelings like I never felt before. It's like a celestial hint knocking at my door. And henceforth that thing that keeps me so deep, that rush we all feel when we all step out. So I rise to the occasion to give glory to the underground. It's not enough just to witness. I had to write it down. I'm inspired.
you think of it? Let us know. +2763 406 9126 is our WhatsApp line. Follow us on social media at Channel Africa 1 on X, Instagram, TikTok, and at Channel Africa on Facebook. We are streaming live. You can see us from our studios in Johannesburg, South Africa. For now, though, let's find out what's the latest in sports.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
We start off with football news. Calls are growing for the Zimbabwe Football Association, ZIFA, to widen its scouting net, this time towards the vast, often untapped pool of Zimbabwean talent in North America. This after Zimbabwe intensifies efforts to rebuild a competitive national football team under head coach Michael Nies. Two former footballers, now based in Canada, Farai Mangweza and Darlington Choto, have added their voices to those calling on ZIFA to look beyond the UK and cast an eye across the Atlantic, where several Zimbabwean youngsters are excelling in elite football development systems in both Canada and the United States. Mangweza, an ardent Caps United supporter, believes the current strategy is too Eurocentric, while acknowledging recent gains made from tapping into the UK diaspora, including the recruitment of players like Wolves' Tawanda Chirewa. He insists there's untapped potential in North America. Mangweza's sentiments are echoed by Choto, a former Zimbabwe under-20 player and Caps United defender who is now heavily involved in junior football development in Ontario. The Confederation of African Football, CAF, has appointed leading Liberian sports journalist Theophilus Clare Wesley as media officer for the upcoming Total Energies Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations to be held in Egypt. Wesley is an accomplished sports journalist, currently serving as media officer for Liberian First Division club LISC FC, where he has elevated the club's brand, making it the most visible Liberian team on social media. The 17th edition of Africa's flagship youth tournament will run from the 27th of April to the 18th of May 2025, with 12 nations competing across 3 venues: Cairo, Ismailia, and Suez. As media officer, Wesley will coordinate media operations and facilitate communication between teams, sports journalists, and tournament organizers. Prior to this new assignment, Wesley served as CAF correspondent in Liberia and was part of the Liberian press team that covered the 2024 Africa Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast. His selection by CAF reflects his professionalism, experience, and growing influence within Africa's sports journalism community. Now, rugby news. The junior Springboks team coach Kevin Foote says the squad is happy to be in the Eastern Cape for the tournament, which kicks off next week at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium. This Sanza tournament consists of 3 exciting doubleheaders on the 3 match days in May and features the best young talent from South Africa, Australia, Argentina, and New Zealand. According to Foote, the junior Bok medical team have also played a crucial role in the preparations, ensuring that the players are fit and ready.
Again, the medical team have done a really good job ensuring that the players are fit, and we've got 31 really good, keen players ready to go. So selection will be a challenge for us now, which is a good thing. But just the main thing is making sure that the players are calm, they've got clarity, and we can start to connect and start to build our process into the championship.
South African sprinter Gift Lotlela was in disbelief after ending Akani Simbine's 8-year reign and finally claiming the national crown on Thursday night at the National Championships in the Northwest Province. 26-year-old, who spent the past 3 years battling a persistent knee injury, stunned the field with a remarkable comeback, clocking a sub-10 time of 9.99 seconds. He edged out teenage sensation Bayanda Walaza, who finished second in 10.00 seconds, while Benjamin Richardson took third in 10.05. Lotlela says he's beyond excited.
I still don't know how to feel at the moment, but I'm very happy. As I told you earlier on, I came here to win, so that's what I did.
And finally, Kenya's track queen Faith Kipyegon is among 10 world record holders and 23 reigning global individual champions entered for the star-studded fields for the first Wonder Diamond League meeting of the year in Jamaica on Saturday. This will be Kipyegon's first race of the season that is expected to see her attempt to become the first woman to run a mile under 4 minutes in a Nike-sponsored race scheduled for the 26th of June in Paris. Others world beaters to compete in Xiamen are double Olympic champion Kenyan Beatrice Chebet, Mondo Duplantis, Grant Holloway, Yaroslava Mahuchik, and Ethiopia's Gudav Tsegai. For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. This is Channel Africa Sport with me, Fidel Ngwati.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Mix Vibration sur Channel Africa.
Nous allons accueillir sur ces plateaux de Mix Vibration un artiste pas comme les autres. Il est exceptionnel. Il se classe résolument dans la trajectoire des artistes qui défendent le patrimoine du folklore africain, mais aussi de la rumba. Ici, Jérémy Tchani.
En tout cas, je vous dis merci à la Channel Africa, à tout le monde qui nous suit. Dans la vie, si tu veux aller loin, il faut comprendre les temps. Il y a ceux-là qui étaient dans leur temps, mais à cause d'une mauvaise conduite, à cause des gens qui l'accompagnait, à cause de sa famille, à cause de beaucoup de choses, son temps passé.
Voilà, donc il faut toujours gérer le temps. Chaque chose a son temps, dit-on. Et la couronne ne dure pas éternellement, dit-on. Donc il faut toujours gérer le temps que Dieu vous a donné sur la terre. C'est le message que Jérémy Tchani nous amène aujourd'hui sur Mix Vibration à Channel Africa.
Mix Vibration, tous les dimanches de 18h à 19h, temps universel.
They talk about what Africans say about Africa. Business news on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Ritmos e cultura com o embaixador da música africana e lusófona Jacobi Wakantivani.
Mombali nanga kasongo mbona wewe songa libala mbona wewe mombali nanga
tem sentido tanto a sua falta e dos ritmos de cultura onde você esteve, meu querido embaixador.
É 2025 e o embaixador da música africana e lusófona Jacobi Wakantivani traz todas as entrevistas com os músicos africanos e lusófonos para a melhor dança, entrevistas e entretenimento. Não perca! Todos os domingos, das 20 às 21 horas de Johannesburg, aqui no Canal África, a perspectiva africana.
The Upside. On the Upside, your voice matters. Business news on Channel Africa. The African Perspective. Business news on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Good afternoon. I'm Nosipho Zuma. In your business news this hour, South Africa's Human Settlement Minister Thembi Simelane says that the real estate sector remains largely untransformed. She also says government is working for first-time home buyers who do not fall within qualifying for an RDP home or bond.
You go into the market of Soweto, for example, houses that are being built, houses that are being sold. I mean, there's no reason why we can't develop property practitioners in those areas, in Mamelodi and everywhere else. Even in suburbs, you do see now a small introduction of property practitioners, but we would want more footprint, particularly in previously disadvantaged individuals and companies.
The latest data from statistics agency Stat has showed that Zimbabwe's annual inflation rate was at 85.7% this month in local currency terms. Now, today's release is the first time Stat has given a year-on-year local currency inflation rate since authorities launched the Zim Gold ZiG currency in April 2024. But the ZiG is down almost 50% since its launch, according to today's exchange rate on the central bank's website. Tanzania has banned the import of agricultural produce or products from Malawi and South Africa, saying it was retaliating for similar hostile trade measures from both countries. Tanzania has further said none of that maize for Malawi will pass through Tanzanian territory, adding that fertilizer exports to Malawi scheduled to begin next week Thursday ahead of the country's planting season have also been suspended. Malawi Trade Minister spokesperson Patrick Botha says that there is no official complaint in Malawi from Tanzania on the trade-related standoff issues.
So as a ministry and as the government of Malawi, we haven't received any official communication from the government of the Republic of Tanzania. However, we are following the developments and we will make a comment at the appropriate time.
The economic freedom fighters in South Africa is adamant that Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana should resign, accusing him of posing a threat to the country's economic stability. All this comes after the reversal of the highly contagious 0.5% value-added tax increase, which was due to take effect next week. The party is also demanding the resignation of National Treasury Director General Dr. Duncan Peters. EFF senior researcher Dr. Ngubeni Tebogo says Godongwana contravened the Public Finance Management Act requirement when he failed to table a budget before the end of the financial year.
A budget is such an important government instrument to ensure that there's continuity of service delivery, there's certainty in the economy and the market, business people know what they're dealing with. But in this instance, both the Minister and the Director General of the National Treasury, Duncan, are unable to present a credible, believable, and also a budget that will find consensus in the National Assembly and in the National Council of Provinces. And we call for his resignation because as things stand now, South Africa does not have a budget before Parliament, which we can analyze, interrogate, agree, disagree, because he has withdrawn everything that he has tabled.
Oil prices have fallen and were set for a weekly decline of over 2% on the back of oversupply concerns and uncertainty around tariff talks between the U.S. and China. Brent crude futures fell 41 cents to $66.14 a barrel, falling 2.6% on the week. U.S. West Texas Intermediate, which is the WTI crude, fell 36 cents to $62.43 a barrel, having declined 3.5% for the week. Oil prices tumbled earlier this month after the tariffs sparked concern about global demand and a sell-off in financial markets. Your financial indicators: $1 US in Nigeria is trading at 1,000 naira 610. In Botswana, it's 13 bula 58. Kenya, the dollar is trading at 128 shilling 59, and in Zambia, it's 28 kwacha 26. The BRICS countries: $1 in Brazil is trading at 5 reals 69. Russia is 83 rubles 09. India, it's 85 rupees 36. China at 7 yuan 29, and in South Africa, $1 US is trading at 18 rand 79. $1 is trading at 75 pence to the British pound and 87 to the euro. Looking at commodities, gold is trading at $3,304 and platinum at $962 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil is at $66.40 a barrel. Now, for any business news stories you would like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business, I'm Nompumelelo Ngubeni.
Business News on Channel Africa. The African Perspective. Africa, meet Abedi.
Yeah, that's me.
Abedi is a music lover through and through.
I really love African music.
He's got a taste for all kinds of tunes and spends his days listening to Channel Africa. Guess what? He didn't know.
Okay.
Channel Africa wants to help Abedi and all music lovers everywhere to discover even more incredible music. That is why Channel Africa is calling on all African musicians to submit their music. Remember to give us all your relevant information. Make your submissions at music@channelafrica.co.za. Submissions are your chance to be heard on radio. But sadly, they do not guarantee that you will be playlisted. All submissions will be carefully reviewed to see if they meet our station's requirement. Channel Africa, the African perspective. The Upside. On the Upside, your voice matters.
expressing themselves, whether they are ZANU-PF or they belong to any other political party or they do not. So what Geza and those that believe in his call did is within their rights. However, we also fully acknowledge that it is an internal fight, and as UZA, we did not participate in that internal fight. We are not going to be used as pawns as what happened in 2017 to usher in a different face for ZANU-PF. It does not matter who is the face of ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF is going to remain the same.
Mornings made better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine.
Ritmos e cultura com o embaixador da música africana e lusófona, Jacob Wakantivani.
Mombari nanga kasongo mbona wewe songa libala mbona wewe mombari nanga
Tem sentido tanto a sua falta e do ritmos e cultura onde você esteve, meu querido embaixador.
É 2025 e o embaixador da música africana e lusófona, Jacob Wakantivani, traz todas as entrevistas com os músicos africanos e lusófonos para a melhor dança, entrevistas e entretenimento. Não perca! Todos os domingos, das 20 às 21 horas de Johannesburg, aqui no Canal África, a perspectiva africana.
Connecting Africa to the world. The Upside. Your daily dose of inspiration, innovation, and untold stories from across Africa. With Nompumelelo and Tebogo.
It is indeed the Upside, 9 minutes before 3 p.m. Central African Time. Nlimele. I was hit. I've been hit. I'm hitful.
What I do appreciate is that, Mahu does say that ulimele. Oftentimes I find that people need to guess that omunye ulimele, that the other is hurt.
Yeah, because sometimes it's not that evident. Some people wear that brave face, and so it's very difficult to read. But yes, Nglimele Mahu featuring Deep Sen, King Toxin, and Mtunzi. It's now time for What Caught Your Eye, and you're more than welcome to chime in on the conversations this afternoon on our social media platforms at Channel Africa 1 on X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and at Channel Africa on Facebook. Use the hashtag The Upside, or use the hashtag What Caught Your Eye. Ma'am, what caught your eye this lovely, beautiful Friday afternoon?
A mixed bag of things. I have been wondering, given the games that are coming up this afternoon, and you may have heard Fikilele Ngwati speak about them in the sports bulletin. Mamelodi Sundowns as well as Orlando Pirates will be aiming to surprise the outcome of the outcomes in Egypt, and they will be taking on Al Ahly as well as Pyramids FC respectively. As a South African, are you going to separate yourself if you are a Chiefs fan, for instance, and rally behind the two teams just by virtue of them being South Africans? Or are you all for Al Ahly and Pyramids FC?
The feud runs very deep.
That it does.
The passion for your team runs very deep. So if you're a Kaizer Chiefs, you're a Kaizer Chiefs for life. All these other teams.
But now...
I think in the event of, final times, I think we saw this, when was it? Did we not see it in the World Cup at some stage? Where we were rooting for an African country together. South Africa was out, but we rooted for an African country because we have representation.
And this should be the same, no?
It should be the same.
But it's not. Because Kaizer Chiefs fans, I find, are the most... I have lots of words for them, but I'll refrain.
Use one of them.
Childish. I mean, get it together. Support Sundowns or Orlando Pirates. This is a big deal.
I don't think that's going to work, especially Chiefs supporting Pirates.
Bitter. Is
even
another word I have
even
for them.
Sundowns. I don't think it's gonna.
What are you? You sound like a Kaizer Chiefs.
No. I support sport.
Are you going to be standing behind the two teams?
I definitely, because I support local. Very patriotic like that. I prefer watching our country, whichever franchise, whichever club, going up against another country. I'll always support the national team or the local teams. So Pirates and Sundowns definitely have my support.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, wonderful. Let us know which team you will be supporting this weekend, Orlando Pirates or Sundowns, or both, as they play Al Ahly and Pyramids FC.
So I came across, it's a rather interesting initiative. Sounds strange, but then it also it makes sense. In Cape Town, there is a luxury 6-course dining experience set aboard a double-decker bus.
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about. A cousin of mine did it.
Someone posted about it yesterday,
Yeah.
and I was like, actually, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a nice
Absolutely.
experience?
Absolutely.
Very
would do it.
different, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know, but I suppose
It is different.
Is it different?
Because what else?
I mean,
what
we
else
do it on trains. We.
Oh, that's a train.
So my point is, food and transportation is nothing new. You do it on a limousine. I mean,
we haven't seen it at this scale though. Anywhere else on the road is what I'm saying. I haven't seen it anywhere else. I haven't seen anyone else doing
it's
something
what
similar.
I will tell you, terribly exciting. Would I do it? Absolutely.
Don't you have motion sickness and stuff? So
Yeah, but it's
won't
it's okay.
eating and being on the road be a problem for you?
Because it's not going to be like a bumpy road, I would imagine. I mean, I would imagine they're taking a rather steady route.
Scenic
And steady.
and steady
Yeah.
route. I thought it was a fascinating thing.
Yeah.
I saw they've got breakfast and lunch options, and they also have the sunset drive. And I thought, wow, people are really out here trying to bring experiences to another level. I mean, we've seen dining in the sky. If you've ever experienced that before,
Is that still around, by the way?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that's going anywhere.
Really?
No, I don't.
I just okay. So there was the hype when it initially started, but it's still there.
Yeah, it
I thought it
definitely
had gone away. I thought people were over it.
No. Dining in the sky, it's quite an experience. People
I
dress
would
up for
not
that.
do that.
You would not
Just
dine in the
because
sky.
I like the temperature of my food warm.
Who's to say it is cold by the time it gets to you?
It's definitely not going to be at the temperature at which I desire my food.
It comes out of the kitchen in a cloche, and it's kept nice and warm. And by the because what happens is that you go up, have your first meal, right?
Yeah.
Then you go down, and then they bring you the second meal. So they clear the tables, and they bring the second one. So the second one will be nice and warm in a cloche, and by the time you get up there, you get to eat it and enjoy it. I mean, I've had it. It's been.
You enjoyed the experience?
Not hot like when you're in a restaurant,
right?
But warm enough. You still get to enjoy it. I really enjoyed the experience.
You enjoyed it.
The views.
And you did it in summer.
I did it. It was summer. In summer. The views, breathtaking. Seeing the jacaranda trees. It's one of the most exciting things that you can try. Dining experiences. Now we've got a bus. We've got sky. What else do we need now?
And we've got sea.
We've got sea, we've got train. Okay, we've got sea,
train. Yeah.
There was at some point, and I know it went viral. One of the airlines started hosting. I think it was just once a one-off thing. They had a comedian performing mid-air. What do you think of that?
It's these
live
mid-air experiences of yours that get me. Now, I'm the type that laughs like rolling type of laughing.
Even better.
And I'm falling from the... No, it's okay. Also, I don't find comedians funny. Now I'm stuck there because I'm in the air. I can't... No, it's okay.
I'm all for these creative experiences and expressions, and I think it's a brilliant one. Having booking a comedian.
Experiences can miss me unless I'm in a hot air balloon with a lover, and I want to be there. That's different. But everything else, no, I don't want to be eating meals that are cold. I don't want to be...
We need to find a place where we can dine in a cave.
Oh, yeah, you're doing that alone. The last time I was in a cave, it was the first time. No, it wasn't, because I did it in school as well. But as an adult, what a deeply meaningful and deep experience. And emotional.
You'd do it again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would absolutely do it again. We went into caves in Mpumalanga.
Sutwala.
Probably Sutwala, the one in the corner there.
Sutwala, must be Sutwala. Yeah.
After that, I was like, what was the point of this? But it was such a great experience.
I love that for you. Yeah. Share some of your experiences with us on social media at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. Use the hashtag The Upside. For now, let's find out what's the latest in news.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Top stories: Asawa, Ghana's Constitutional Court confirms election result. Gabon's Constitutional Court confirms election results, and Ukraine says it wants to end the war with Russia. Good afternoon. I'm Cholani Tulongwebe. Gabon's Constitutional Court has confirmed Brice Oligui Nguema won the Central African nation's April 12 presidential election. Nguema is set to be inaugurated on the 3rd of May. He secured victory with seven other candidates and won 94.85% of the total. In August 2023, Nguema led a coup that ended 56 years of rule by President Ali Bongo and his family. He has pledged to boost agriculture, industry and tourism while diversifying the economy of the oil-rich nation. An aid agency in Sudan says that many people fleeing the paramilitary rapid support forces have died from starvation or thirst in temperatures exceeding 40 degrees Celsius. The head of operations of the Norwegian Refugee Council, Noah Taylor, described the horrific conditions in the town of Tawila as more than 100,000 people flee fighting in the region.
This is a harrowing journey, but it is also a harrowing journey leaving horrific circumstances. We're hearing of people eating leaves, eating charcoal in Zamzam and El Fasher just to survive, and then having to make that journey through blistering heat, harassed by armed actors all along the way, only to arrive in Tawila where there is very little to go around.
Senegal's top court has rejected a move by lawmakers to revise an amnesty law that would have paved the way for possible prosecutions over the deaths of dozens of protesters during anti-government demonstrations between 2021 and 2024. The West African country's parliament had approved revisions earlier this month to the law, which was passed on March 2024 under former President Macky Sall, to pardon offences committed by both security forces and protesters. Riots broke out across Senegal in the run-up to elections on the 24th of March last year, fueled by concerns that Sall was muzzling his opponents and seeking to stay in power beyond the end of his mandate. According to Amnesty International, at least 65 people were killed, mostly by bullets. The Catholic Archdiocese of Pretoria in South Africa has remembered Pope Francis during a mass ahead of his funeral at St. Peter's Square in the Vatican tomorrow. Pope Francis died on Easter Monday at the age of 88 after suffering a stroke. The Archdiocese of Pretoria Archbishop Dabula Mpogo reflected on Pope Francis' 12th year of papacy, saying the late pontiff's inclusive approach made him unique, particularly his stance on blessing same-sex unions.
Without leaving the official teaching of the church, without breaking with the tradition of the church, he held to the truth, but at the same time, he tried to reach out to those who needed to be included. And that's where the misunderstanding was. Some thought, okay, he is not now being faithful to the teaching of the church, but he never, in fact, turned against the teaching of the church. Even there, he was still reaffirming the teaching of the church about Mary, but at the same time, he was saying, how do we make those who feel marginalized still part of the church?
And finally, the Ukrainian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Andriy Sybiha, says Kyiv wants to end the war that has left many civilians dead and some displaced. He says Ukraine is willing to engage with Russia to reach a deal that will be beneficial to both countries. Sybiha spoke to the media during the Ukrainian president's working visit to South Africa. He says it is important that a ceasefire is reached as soon as possible.
Ukraine committed to peace efforts. We want to end this war this year.
We achieved progress recently with our allies after our talks, especially in Jeddah, in Riyadh, in Paris, and in London. I also yesterday attended this meeting with our allies in Paris to discuss our path, our further efforts how to achieve just and comprehensive and lasting peace.
Recapping the top story this hour, Gabon's Constitutional Court has confirmed Brice Oligui Nguema won the Central African nation's April 12 presidential elections. For any news stories you would like to share with us, please do send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I'm Jolani Tulo Mwebe.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Not 5. 3 p.m. Central African Time. Welcome to The Upside. If you've just joined us, Nompumelelo Ngubeni Tebogo Lekhuleni. It's the final hour of the show. Thank you so much for choosing Channel Africa this afternoon to drive you home, to drive you to the weekend.
Into the weekend, absolutely. Hoping that, you have a good start to the weekend, particularly if, like Tebogo said earlier, you have been paid. I'm sure you are just a notch happier. Just a notch.
Just a notch. Yeah. And unless all the debits are also coming out at the same day. Which is
always the best thing to do, no?
You think so?
Just get it done and over with.
You don't want to see the money first and be like, it looks amazing.
It's an illusion.
And then you'll be sad the next day.
It's an illusion. Rather get that money, as soon as it gets in, it must get out. And whatever is supposed to remain must remain.
I share the same sentiments when it comes to that, because I believe as soon as that money comes in, whatever's owed to the bank, whatever creditors, rent, whatever it is that needs to be paid, insurance, all of that needs to be taken care of immediately.
Absolutely.
Because you get a false sense of, I have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Then you forgot that one bill. Have you ever seen those videos of people on social media? And they're eating, they're enjoying the fine dining, right? They're enjoying a meal. And then the caption at the top says, something is very suspicious here. It seems I have quite a bit of money. Which debits did I miss this month? It's
that
exactly
breaks my
that.
heart, actually. As we are speaking about getting paid and how much money you have in your account, it does get me thinking about a post I saw earlier on, and these are statistics that are coming out of Stats SA, reflecting income from various households in South Africa.
Okay.
So the median monthly income in South Africa is 7,891 rands. That's basically what most South Africans are earning on a monthly basis. 7,891 rand. The average monthly, this is what most, I suppose, average and median?
Average, it's median.
It's no, there's a median here and there's an average.
What, the average of the median?
So the median is 7,891. Average monthly income is 17,030 rand. All right. Now, they break it down according to different categories. Black Africans are earning 11,969,000 rand. Colored folk, or people that are referred to as coloreds, are earning 21,735 rand. Indians, or people of Indian descent, 34,786. Caucasians, white folk, 56,365. All right. They further break these down and say monthly household income by education level indicates that a household where there is no schooling, where the person basically who's earning the income has no schooling, will be earning 7,000 rand.
Okay.
When you have a secondary education, it'll be 12,480. If you have a tertiary education, it'll be 48,188. For households headed by those with tertiary education, income is 7 times higher versus no education. And for households headed by those with tertiary education, income is 4 times higher versus when you have a secondary education. What does that tell you? Equals all of this of what I said is equals what? For you.
There is no way. Is that a real accurate description of what's happening on the ground?
It says, from what I've read, education remains important.
The reason why I didn't want to go there, I'm like, is this really what's happening on the ground?
Yeah.
We have so many people who have degrees and tertiary education who are not necessarily earning, even in a combined household, half of that.
17,000.
Well, the higher one. I think it was 48.
Those were white people.
Yeah, the white people, the Caucasians. I'm like, wow, okay, that's interesting. Well, education remains a key, indeed.
Absolutely. Even under the circumstances that we face where the educated people or some of the most educated people are struggling to find jobs, it's important to have a tertiary education and go as high as you can, because then you are also increasing your chances of being gainfully employed.
Well, then there are some people out there who are still looking up to the billionaires of the world who said, I left school to pursue A, B, and C, and now here I am as
what percentage are those?
Very small.
Of the population.
It's decimal.
Yeah.
In actual fact. Anyway, it's 12 minutes past 3 p.m. Central African time. This is The Upside. Look forward to a conversation that we are going to have with Ludo BU, who stepped away from Big Brother and then into acting, and now he is releasing a single, and we can't wait to hear all about it. Don't go anywhere.
Africa in Song with Chanduko Ligege.
So the artist that I just played now went by the name A.B. Crystal. So A standing for Alfred, B for Benjamin. What's your take on people having two names? Is it because maybe you can't decide on a name?
I've heard people saying that they are named because of whatever that was happening around.
These are all the seasonal. I'm sure now a baby born in the Eastern Cape is called Noma Tarif.
You see now? Or it was a born baby when it was, what do you call these things we used to pay for men driving?
Noma Itol.
Noma Itol, listen.
Well, Noma Confident is leaving.
Africa in Song with Chanduko Ligege.
Africa, voici Abedi.
Oui, c'est moi.
Abedi est un passionné de musique dans l'âme. Il a un goût pour toutes sortes de musique et passe ses journées à écouter Channel Africa.
J'aime beaucoup la musique africaine.
Ok. Devinez quoi? Channel Africa veut aider Abedi et les mélomanes du monde entier à découvrir encore plus de musique incroyable. C'est pourquoi Channel Africa appelle les artistes africains à soumettre leur musique. Chers artistes, n'oubliez pas de nous fournir toutes vos informations pertinentes à l'email adresse musique@channelafrica.co.za. Les soumissions sont votre chance d'être entendues, mais elles ne garantissent pas une playlist. Toutes les soumissions seront soigneusement examinées pour voir si elles répondent aux exigences de notre station. Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
Midday vibes, great programming, and good company. This is Channel Africa.
get it, BU. I get it.
I want you.
That's the title of the song. That's not Tebogo saying he wants. That's not Tebogo being inappropriate, basically, on air. Just in case our bosses are listening. Okay, that is "I Want You" by BU.
Thank you very much for that clarity. Much needed.
Just in case. And I suppose that is the kind of reaction that BU wants from the song. Do you think, he wants people to get all giddy after listening to the song?
Yeah.
And potentially, a partner saying,
No, definitely.
That's my message to you,
I love the spoken word also in that song.
Yeah.
Takes
it's got different elements.
Yeah, quite a few. I mean, that does not take you back to the olden days, listening to the Manhattans and the OJs. Adding some spoken word in there just to make sure that you had me. I wanted to make sure. Because sometimes you sing and you listen to a song and they're singing and they're twanging. There's some words that are twanged in there. Like, what did you really say? So when he says it in a spoken word form, I found that brilliant. All right, let's get into our conversation. It's 18 minutes past 3 p.m. Central African time. Join us live on the SABC Plus app or stream us on our social media platforms at Channel Africa 1 on X, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and at Channel Africa on Facebook. Use the hashtag The Upside. Now, from reality star to rising screen actor, and now dropping one of the smoothest genre-bending R&B tracks of the year.
Genre-bending, certainly.
Genre-bending. Ludo BU is not just stepping into the spotlight, he's owning it. Known for his compelling role in Stripped, BU returns to the mic with I Want You, a love letter wrapped in the nostalgia of the 90s R&B and spiced up with African soul. And he joins us.
And spoken word.
And spoken word.
A
little bit. And he joins us on the line. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ludo BU. Welcome to the Upside.
Hey.
Oh, man, how you doing?
We are fantastic, sir. What is this that you are doing? Hey, you go from reality star to acting, and now you are a singer. Which one is this one? What hit you to, what hit that inspiration to switch to this particular genre? Because many people would not have thought of you as much of a singer. So when did this come about?
The actual reason why I got into entertainment was music. So it's kind of like that's when everyone is already catching on now.
Love that.
But it's a beautiful transition for the public to catch up to. Because for me, the first thing I got introduced to was music. So it's quite a beautiful thing to witness.
BU, you mentioned the genre bending, and I could certainly hear it in I Want You. Blending in the 90s R&B with some contemporary sounds as well. What specific elements from that era influenced you?
I can't wait for everyone to see the music video because it's so big to see when you see the music video.
Oh, really?
The inspiration is your Boyz II Men, your Backstreet Boys. And it's just like that. We call it the air hugging. What's the air grabbing voice? Those guys in the music video.
In the rain. You know what? I can see it because it's in keeping with the persona that you've kind of been associated with, and that is sex appeal. Was that? You say the intention to get into this industry initially was music. Had that been the goal or the idea of who you would be or the kind of music you'd venture into? The air grabbing?
Yeah. The air grabbing was not the goal at all. But it's a beautiful one. When people perceive you a specific way, it's not always negative. Sometimes you could use that to your benefit. And I've been enjoying, I know it's not going to be forever. Everything is temporary. So it's for now, and I'll lean into it's more important to lean into what's familiar than to move away from it.
I like that.
I love that. It's 22 minutes past 3 p.m. Central African time. We are in conversation with Ludo BU on his latest release, I Want You. We'll carry on the conversation after this.
Vue d'Afrique avec Joël Mouteba.
Sadio, quelles sont les motivations derrière la décision du général Mamadi Doumbouya d'accorder la grâce présidentielle à Moussa Dadis Camara?
Alors, officiellement ici, c'est pour des raisons de santé, et puis le décret aussi a ajouté que c'est dans un élan de réconciliation nationale et c'est un cas social. Mais au-delà de ça, les analystes ils voient sous un angle politique. Les moins critiques estiment que c'est pour peut-être faciliter un petit peu la réconciliation que pourrait tenter aujourd'hui le CNSD.
Vue d'Afrique. Du lundi au vendredi de 15h à 16h, temps universel.
Join Tebogo and Nompumelelo on the upside, where optimism meets opportunity.
Well, happy Friday to you. The weekend is upon us, and we are celebrating artists. We are celebrating creatives. We are celebrating in this hour Ludo BU releasing a new song titled I Want You. BU, let's talk about the role that being on reality TV has played, the fame that it brought about, because you released this song now after Big Brother, after Ayeye, after Adulting. Talk to us about how that factored into you now stepping into the music scene. Would you have done this now without those other elements? Was music going to be the first thing, or did this push you there because of the fame and the reality and being so popular now?
Yeah, it was always part of the plan. It was always part of the plan, to be honest, to use my strengths to my benefit. You know, it's one thing to be talented, but I think in this day and age, it's not enough to be talented. You just gotta lean into other elements of who you are. You know, so when people say catchy things, or I see a familiar thing that's always consistent within how people view me, especially with the fans. The name of the title goes to say, you know, 100%. Exactly that. I thought that was more what I was seeing was a reoccurring theme, you know, and me having my background in research, I thought, let me just kind of use my strength to my benefits and lean into that.
So the song I Want You does have a bit of a multilingual approach. I did think I heard several. Yeah, there was a little bit of isiZulu, Setswana, Portuguese. What prompted the decision then to kind of incorporate all languages or many languages?
Trying to be inclusive as possible. You see, as Africans, we're very talented for the most part, but multilingual is one of the main things that we are. So to leave that out would be, I don't know, you'd feel like it's a crime, you know? So we have to just kind of, besides also the artists that I kind of was featuring into the song, they come from a very diverse background, and I just asked them to lean more into speaking the you know, the lingo from where they are from.
BU, you mentioned that we need to be very excited about the music video. Is this because you co-directed it? Tell us about some of the elements we can expect to see on this music video.
Oh, goodness. I don't want to give away too much, but it's a typical story of love, you know, pursuing. I believe I've been seeing a lot of new age thoughts where a lot of guys feel
don't pursue.
A lot of guys feel like now they need to be the ones being pursued.
He's one of them. You need to have a chat with him, BU. He doesn't pursue. But yes.
It's not my fault, BU.
I mean, they have a point. Love is a give and take thing. It's not only a receive thing. I think everyone should pursue love. Anything. You shouldn't be pursuing each other alone. You know, should be firing each other more than anything. That's the true sense of the word, anyways.
And the video, I mean, you said you didn't want to give too much away. But any familiar faces, any kind of connecting the dot that we'll be seeing from perhaps Adulting and or any one of your other the characters that you played previously, just a little snippet. Come on.
No, unfortunately, I can't
you
give away too
can't.
much.
Oh, all right.
I'll tell you this much. There's choreography in there, and I got to explore my dancing side.
Okay.
With Tyler's lead choreographer, she's quite amazing. She's my interest on the music video. Dance. She's a dancer, and she choreographed that dance with me. And I also not produced, but more directed the video alongside Morale, who is responsible for a lot of hit music videos, mainly with Ricky Rick and Casper's. Yeah. So it's a lot. It's going to be quite a sight to see, I believe.
Just from the girlies, you're going to be topless at some stage, right?
Oh, goodness.
Just at some stage.
What's the music video? There might be rain. There might be.
I love it. I love it. When is it dropping?
We don't know.
When is it dropping?
It's coming on this weekend. This weekend, the music video will be out.
Okay. All right.
That's exciting. That's exciting. He mentioned rain, so it's going back to the 90s.
He must definitely, as long as he's topless.
As long as he's topless.
There might be a little desert there. There might be a lot of rain there, you know.
BU, let's talk about what's next. It's not just I Want You. Do you have other songs lined up? Do you have performances, live performance? I'm pretty sure people want to see you live on stage as well.
But I love that question you just asked. So I haven't really tapped into my live performances yet because I believe you have to have a strong catalog. At this point, I'm just kind of building. I mean, I'll give the people what they want, obviously, if it makes sense. But at this point, it's more a matter of building the catalog. And in terms of what's next, I don't like to give away too much, but there is a follow-up song. I'm following the what is it, AKA motto of one for the streets and then one for corporate, you know. So this song is more like your more commercial song, but we have one for the streets that's already loaded up, so it's coming up pretty soon.
So a completely different genre then as well.
Yeah,
nice.
See, my first love is hip hop, so it's definitely gonna be tapping more into that bag.
Oh, and BU, finally, what do you want fans to get out of this song? As soon as they hear it, I mean, they heard it a couple of minutes ago. What are you hoping that they get out of this song?
Man, the song I Want You is dedicated to everybody. There's nobody who's left out. You know, everybody can relate to it. Nostalgia feel. I want it to feel like home. I want it to feel like it's a song you can walk in at home and your mom is singing along, or your dad's got that catchy tune in his head. Or the children are running around and singing the same melody. You know, that's the idea behind the song, to make it as catchy as possible so everyone can relate to it. So yeah, what I want people to take away is that as much as they're showing me love, I want to show them love as well.
Where do we catch you on social media?
Okay, on socials, it's BU, the letter B, the letter U, _universe on every platform.
BU_universe. We cannot wait to see the video. I'll certainly be camping on your social media, essentially, to get a link to that music video. Thank you so much for your time and everything of the best with I Want You.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much for having me on your beautiful platform.
That is Ludo BU with I Want You, speaking to us about his single I Want You. He's certainly going to be releasing more music, so do check it out and check him out on social media. You want to go and check out his music video.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Nudge, nudge, wink.
You know what I want? To hear what's the latest in sport.
Cheesy.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
We start off with football news. Calls are growing for the Zimbabwe Football Association, ZIFA, to widen its scouting net, this time towards the vast, often untapped pool of Zimbabwean talent in North America. This after Zimbabwe intensifies efforts to rebuild a competitive national football team under head coach Michael Nies. Two former footballers, now based in Canada, Farai Mangwiza and Darlington Choto, have added their voices to those calling on ZIFA to look beyond the UK and cast an eye across the Atlantic, where several Zimbabwean young stars are excelling in elite football development systems in both Canada and the United States. Mangwiza, an ardent Caps United supporter, believes the current strategy is too Eurocentric. While acknowledging recent gains made from tapping into the UK diaspora, including the recruitment of players like Wolves' Tawanda Chirewa, he insists there's untapped potential in North America. The Confederation of African Football, CAF, has appointed leading Liberian sports journalist Theophilus Kla Wesley as media officer for the upcoming Total Energies Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations to be held in Egypt. Wesley is an accomplished sports journalist currently serving as media officer for Liberian First Division club LISC FC, where he has elevated the club's brand, making it the most visible Liberian team on social media. The 17th edition of Africa's flagship youth tournament will run from the 27th of April to the 18th of May 2025, with 12 nations competing across 3 venues: Cairo, Ismailia, and Suez. As media officer, Wesley will coordinate media operations and facilitate communications between teams, sports journalists, and tournament organizers. Now, rugby news. There are just 3 rounds of matches left for 4 South African franchises to secure the best possible for the knockout rounds of the United Rugby Championship, URC. On Saturday, the Lions play Connacht at home, still harboring faint hopes of sneaking into the top 8, whilst the Stormers meet Benetton in Cape Town, aiming to improve on 8 places on the log. The 4th place Sharks are in Ireland to face Ulster, and tonight, the 3rd place Bulls tackle the Glasgow Warriors. They are in a week 4 of an overseas tour that has seen a win in France, a loss in Scotland, and most recently, a huge victory over Munster in Limerick last weekend. Bulls flanker Marcel Gouzet wants the memories of Glasgow win in the final to be banished by focusing on what the Bulls stand to gain by winning at Scottstown Stadium.
Particularly at this stage of the URC format, every game is vital. And I think coming up against a quality Glasgow team, it's going to be a tough task, but challenge. We're looking forward to it. The past is the past, but we know the reward that awaits us. There's a chance maybe then for a home quarterfinal, So I think the reward outweighs that, but we're really looking forward to the challenge.
And the Junior Springboks team coach Kevin Foote says the squad is happy to be in the Eastern Cape for the tournament, which kicks off next week at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium. The Sansa tournament consists of 3 exciting double headers on the 3 match days in May and features the best young talent from South Africa, Australia, Argentina, and New Zealand. The Junior Bok medical team have also played a crucial role in the preparations, ensuring that the players are fit and ready.
Again, the medical team have done a really good job ensuring that the players are fit, and we've got 31 really good, keen players ready to go. So selection will be a challenge for us now, which is a good thing. But just the main thing is making sure that the players are calm, they've got clarity, and we can start to connect and start to build our process into the championship.
Let's end with athletics. Kenya's track field Faith Kipyegon is among the 10 world record holders and 23 reigning global individual champions entered for the star-studded fields for the first Wonder Diamond League meeting of the year in Xiamen on Saturday. This will be Kipyegon's first race of the season that is expected to see her attempt to become the first woman to run a mile under 4 minutes in a Nike-sponsored race schedule for the 26th of June in Paris. For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. This is Channel Africa Sport with me, Fikile Lingwati.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective. Mornings made better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine.
I want the Africa that makes every single African proud of the continent and have hope. And there's so much stuff that's going on that's positive. And if we can just lock into that, Namaganjani, everyone is going to get there.
Where are we going? Where are we trying to get to?
The idea of working together, which is why I'm excited about this new voice.
And the new voice is me, Asanda Peta, broadcast journalist with about 15 years of experience on the radio space.
Welcome, Asanda. I've been waiting for you for a long time.
Were you waiting for me?
I was.
Really?
Yeah, because for 3 months I was on my own.
So be sure to tune in right here on Channel Africa Mondays to Fridays from 6 till 9 a.m. Central African Time.
If you want to know about your continent, this is the best place to start your day.
Rise and Shine on Channel Africa. The Upside. On the Upside, your voice matters.
36 minutes past 3 p.m. Central African Time. It's now time for us to find out what's happening in the world of business. What's the rand trading at, the dollar, especially for us who are potentially going to become forex traders very soon.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Good afternoon. I'm Nosipho Zuma. In your business news this hour, the Democratic Alliance says it's confident that the fiscal gap created by the reversal of the value-added tax increase in South Africa can be filled. DA leader John Steenhuisen spoke to the South African Broadcasting Corporation on the sidelines at the Union Building in Pretoria yesterday. Steenhuisen says that there are various proposals to close the shortfall.
The money that would have been raised by the VAT increase amounts to 0.7% of the entire budget. Now, if you can't find 0.7% of savings in this multi-trillion rand budget, then there's something wrong with the accountancy. I'm convinced there are savings there. We've put on the table a number of areas where there are savings, and we will again do so because we want to play a constructive role in getting a credible, funded budget on the table that's going to allow us to help grow the economy and create jobs.
The South African rand has held steady after the Finance Ministry scrapped the controversial value-added tax hike set for next month. The rate stays at 15%, offering some relief to investors ahead of the delayed national budget. Globally, markets are watching for signs of easing tensions between the US and China, while the IMF has downgraded its growth forecast for Africa, citing multiple shocks. Head of Investment Research at FNB Wealth and Investment, Chantal Max.
The rand response has been relatively benign, and I had a quick look at South Africa's bond yields as well this morning, and we saw a meaningful track downwards. Now, with yields, we mean that the funding cost has actually declined and the prices have increased. So it's a positive response to the VAT announcement.
South Africa's Human Settlement Minister Thembisi Melani says that the real estate sector remains largely untransformed. She also says government is working to support first-time home buyers who do not fall within qualifying for an RDP home or bond. Melani says that they are also engaging commercial banks on transformation. The minister was speaking at a small, medium and micro enterprises incubation event which the Property Practitioners Regulatory Authority hosted in Midrand, Johannesburg.
You go into the market of Soweto, for example, houses that are being built, houses that are being sold. I mean, there's no reason why we can't develop property practitioners in those areas, in Mamelodi and everywhere else. Even in suburbs, you do see now a small introduction of property practitioners, but we would want more footprint, particularly in previously disadvantaged individuals and companies.
Congo and Rwanda are planning to sign an agreement in Washington today to promote peace and economic development. Now, sources say this is part of diplomatic push to end violence after an advance by Rwandan-backed rebels in eastern Congo. The agreement raises hopes that the latest cycle of violence in a long decade conflict rooted in the Rwandan genocide might ease, with both countries hoping to attract a significant U.S. investment in minerals. However, previous ceasefire calls have not produced a sustained break in the fighting. And finally, oil prices have fallen and were set for a weekly decline of over 2% on the back of oversupply concerns and uncertainty around tariff talks between the U.S. and China. Brent crude futures fell 41 cents to $66.14 a barrel, falling 2.6% on the week. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude fell 36 cents to $62.43 a barrel, having declined 3.5% for the week. Oil prices tumbled earlier this month after the tariffs sparked concern about global demand and a sell-off in financial markets. Your financial indicators: $1 in Nigeria is trading at 1,000 naira 610. In Botswana, it's 13 bula 58. Kenya, the dollar is trading at 128 shilling 59, and in Zambia, it's 28 kwacha 26. The BRICS countries: $1 in Brazil is trading at 5 real 69. Russia is 83 rubles 09. India, it's 86 rupees 36. China at 7 yuan 29, and in South Africa, $1 is trading at 18 rand 79. Looking at commodities, the gold is trading at $3,304 and platinum at $962 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil is at $66.40 a barrel. Now, for any business news stories you would like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business, I'm Nusipo Zuma.
Business News on Channel Africa. The African Perspective. Broadcasting in 5 different languages, connecting the continent. This is Channel Africa, the African Perspective. The Upside. On the Upside, your voice matters.
the musical chef Tracy Tatohadzi as well. It is a very popular one. It gets me thinking about Andrew did say that Abokoko is going to be part of the lineup, no?
He said that we have to have them, otherwise Abokoko will be very, very angry with us. So he said it, not in so many words, that it's going to be there, but it's going to be there.
That is Calvin Momo's performance with an orchestra coming up in June.
Yeah.
They're all sold out. Both days are sold out, guys. Red Bull has not announced an added date still. So,
they've added an extra day.
Is that day sold out as well?
They added an extra day.
When are tickets going live?
That's exciting. Oh, that's exciting. Listen,
Wait, it's probably sold out.
Keep an eye out. No, don't say that.
I'm so disheartened.
Don't say that. We need to keep an eye out. We need to go on the socials.
Better yet, our producer, Nompumelelo, as if you don't have enough on your plate.
We've got connections.
We need tickets for that extra
That's
day.
a good thing.
Because we lobbied for it.
That's amazing. We did. This was last week Friday, wasn't it? And we were like, it's going to sell out the first couple of days immediately. So, can they add an extra date? And it was not confirmed at the time of our conversation.
No, it wasn't. We were an integral part of that extra date being added there. All right. But, we'll
exciting.
discuss Calvin Momo and his performance and the extra day next week. Our producer, Nompumelelo Tango, will certainly make sure that we are in attendance. But for now, is in studio let us know what is coming up on Africa in Business. He's in for Tami Ngubeni. Hi.
Indeed, colleagues. Very good afternoon to you guys, and I've been enjoying your show. Well, but we've got a very jam-packed show for our listeners on business. We'll be looking at the Department of Trade and Industry. They're in partnership with MTN. They have something called private sector engagement. This is Nigeria and South Africa. So they're trying to strengthen economic cooperation. But we'll also go to Zimbabwe, where we're looking at the lecture strike over wages in Zimbabwe. It started last year, actually. So they're demanding around $2.5 US. And
these are university lecturers.
Yes.
Oh man, I just feel like Zimbabwe's working sector, just the labor force in every sector has been protesting. I mean, we saw, I think, the first protests by teachers, and it was doctors at some stage. Now lecturers saying that they.
It's rather unfortunate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the economy has not been doing well. So it's a difficult time for Zimbabwe. I mean, we want Zimbabwe to work for the benefit of the SADC region,
of course.
But we've got a beautiful show ahead of our listeners.
I have no doubt that you do.
That's Africa in Business, coming up in less than a minute's time. What's happening this weekend? What are you getting up to?
Sure. I'm so exhausted. I don't know what it is, but I'm knackered. All I am hoping for is a little bit of exercise.
Okay.
So I'll do maybe a little bit of walking.
All right.
But rest for the most part.
Okay. Ino, what are you getting up to this weekend?
Well, it's another long weekend, right?
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Up until Monday.
It's on Monday. That means nothing to us, though.
Yeah, I think I'll be babysitting because my wife has other engagements. So, yeah.
You don't babysit your own children. You're just going to go parenting. I thought you were going to say, my niece or my nephew. No. They are yours.
But remember,
you are going to be a parent.
As men, so it's quite a task.
And you,
babysitting these ones, hiking this weekend and just taking it easy. Outside, out and about. And we hope that you're going to have a fantastic time. It is payday for a lot of people on the 25th of April. Enjoy it. Be safe on the roads and have yourselves a fantastic weekend. Africa in Business is coming up next with Ino. But let's listen to the news first.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Top stories. Asawa, Gabon's constitutional court confirms election results, and Pakistan rejects India's accusation that it was linked to a deadly attack in India's Kashmir state. Good afternoon. I'm Cholani Tulongwebe. Gabon's Constitutional Court has confirmed Brice Oligui Nguema won the Central African nation's April 12 presidential election. Nguema is set to be inaugurated on the 3rd of May. He secured victory against 7 other candidates, securing 94.85% of the total. In August 2023, Nguema led a coup that ended 56 years of rule by former President Ali Bongo and his family. He has pledged to boost agriculture, industry and tourism while diversifying the economy of the oil-rich nation. An aid agency in Sudan says that many people fleeing the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, or RSF, have died from starvation or thirst in temperatures exceeding 40 degrees Celsius. The head of operations of the Norwegian Refugee Council, Noah Taylor, described the horrific conditions in the town of Tawila as more than 100,000 people flee fighting in the region.
This is a harrowing journey, but it is also a harrowing journey leaving horrific circumstances. We're hearing of people eating leaves, eating charcoal in Zamzam and in El Fasher just and then having to make that journey through blistering heat, harassed by armed actors all along the way, only to arrive in Tawila where there is very little to go around.
Members of the Palestine Solidarity Campaign, or PSC, have called on the South African government to stop exporting coal to Israel. PSC member Abida Adams says the supply of coal to Israel is escalating the ongoing war in Gaza. The PSC and Union Federation COSATU held a protest outside the U.S. consulate in Cape Town in the Western Cape province today, demanding, amongst others, the U.S. government to ensure a full unconditional ceasefire and stop the killings in Gaza. Adams says they also demand the South African government to impose sanctions against Israel.
South Africa is exporting through Glencore thousands of tons of coal still to the Zionist state of Israel, thereby fueling the genocide, because that coal is used for the Israeli occupation force, but it's also used to supply energy in the illegal settlements. But our Palestinian brothers and sisters, even now, we know since the most recent blockade, they have been discontinuing their access to electricity and energy all the time.
The Catholic Archdiocese of Pretoria in South Africa has remembered Pope Francis during a mass ahead of his funeral at St. Peter's Square in the Vatican tomorrow. Pope Francis died on Easter Monday at the age of 88 after suffering a stroke. The Archdiocese of Pretoria Archbishop Dabula Mpoko reflected on Pope Francis' 12 years of papacy, saying the late pontiff's inclusive approach made him unique, particularly in his stance on blessing same-sex unions.
Without leaving the official teaching of the church, without breaking with the tradition of the church, he held to the truth, but at the same time, he tried to reach out to those who needed to be included. And that's where the misunderstanding was. Some thought, okay, he is not now being faithful to the teaching of the church, but he never, in fact, turned against the teaching of the church. Even there, he was still reaffirming the teaching of the church about Mary, but at the same time, he was saying, how do we make those who feel marginalized still part of the church?
Pakistan's Senate has rejected India's accusation that Pakistan was linked to a deadly attack in Indian-administered Kashmir on Tuesday. India says 2 of the 4 attackers were Pakistani. 26 civilians were killed in the attack. The BBC's Azadeh Mushiri has the story.
Pakistan's official line is clear. They have no knowledge of any Pakistani nationals linked to the attack in Pahalgam. The National Security Committee has said India is engaged in a blame game to further its own political agenda. Now the Senate has gone further. Its resolution accuses India of an orchestrated campaign to malign Pakistan and condemns the suspension of a landmark water treaty between the two countries. Pakistan also warned it is prepared to respond to any military provocation. A day after the Defence Minister told the BBC halting the flow of water would be a declaration of war.
Recapping the top story this hour, Gabon's Constitutional Court has confirmed Brice Oligui Nguema won the Central African nation's April 12 presidential election. Nguema is set to be inaugurated on the 3rd of May. For any news stories you would like to share with us, please do send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I'm Jolani Tulo Ngwebe.
SABC News. the African perspective.
In our sports headlines, Amfikile Lingwati, Football Association Zambia is expected to sanction Ghana for Quito Derby chaos as government condemns hooliganism. I'll be back with our Zambian correspondent Namuchana at the bottom of the hour.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Africa in Business on Channel Africa, the African perspective, where we meet to look at the latest in business, news and sports. I'm Innocent Samosa, of course, in for Ngubeni Ngubeni. She's, of course, back with you next week. Well, we are broadcasting live from Auckland Park in Johannesburg, South Africa. We are on DSTV Audio Bouquet, channel 802, on OpenView, on channel 628. And you can live stream us on www.channelafrica.co.za, as well as on the SABC Plus app, available on the Google and Apple Play Store. Now join the conversation by finding us on X. We are Channel Africa #1 on Facebook. We're Channel Africa on Instagram. We are Channel Africa 1. You can also subscribe on our YouTube channel, that is at Channel Africa 1. You can also send us your stories to newsroom at channelafrica.co.za, or alternatively you can call us on +27 117 144459. You can also send your comments and voice notes on +27 63406 9126. In your comments, please tell us which country you are connecting from. We love, of course, hearing from you on our socials. If you have missed any of our interviews, you can find them on www.channelafrica.co.za. Click on programming, look for Africa in Business, and you can find a podcast wherever you are, or the one that you have missed. It's exactly 16:08 Central African Time.
Connecting Africa to the world. Africa in Business with Ngubeni Ngubeni brings you the latest insights on Africa's economy.
Now, following an announcement by South Africa's Minister of Finance, Enoch Godongwana, that the VAT hike has been scrapped, we look back at the history of these controversial tax since its first introduction in 1991. The National Party saw it as a key revenue tool amid sanctions, while the ANC and its allies strongly opposed it. Now, SABC economic editor Tshepo Mongwai has more.
The African National Congress was among several organizations that united against the introduction of value-added tax in the early 90s. The Liberation Movement believed that the tax would deepen poverty in black communities and fuel inflation. More concerning at that time was the proposed application of the tax on medical and municipal services. Some viewed this as an introduction of a tax on another tax. Most municipal councils were against the VAT.
Well, the Johannesburg City Council, as with other major cities, as with other members of the United Municipal Executive, are going to make very strident representations to the Minister of Finance that this should not be allowed and that we should be zero rated as far as property is concerned.
Despite the nationwide objection to VAT, government went ahead and it was introduced. This prompted a nationwide strike action on the 4th of November 1991. COSATU, along with the African National Congress and other organizations, led the strike action.
We estimate that more than 3.5 million workers today supported the general strike, which was called to demand that the government change the VAT system and immediately enter into negotiations on the macroeconomic future and policies of South Africa. Today's action was also a remarkable display of unity by a wide range of trade unions, civic, political organizations, business groups across the spectrum. NAFCOC, FAPCOS, SAPTA, and small business fully supported this action. We commend these organizations for the efficient way in which they have ensured that our action was a success.
Few months before the introduction of VAT, government consulted various stakeholders for inputs. A multiracial coordinating committee on VAT was established to formalize engagement with the government of F.W. de Klerk on the proposed introduction of VAT. The group was represented by 18 organizations, including Operation Hunger, trade unions, consumer and health bodies.
The state president has given us his undertaking that he would look very seriously at the proposals we put before him today, particularly those proposals relating to zero rating of basic foodstuffs, the provisions for mechanisms to enable particularly the disadvantaged communities on questions of water and electricity. There was also a commitment from him to look at further ways on negotiation related to provision of poverty relief programs. We do believe, however, and made it very clear in our meetings, that we felt that those provisions for poverty relief were totally inadequate.
The education sector took the decision not to take part in the nationwide protest actions, but teacher unions warned that pupils and teachers were prepared to join the picket lines soon after the examinations.
We don't want to plan any form of mass action because we think that all our efforts must be directed at the examination process. After examinations, we are considering possibilities of students and teachers participating in the strike because we are actually supporting the campaign against VAT in the country.
The coordinating committee on VAT was established to look at some of the concerns raised. ANC and COSATU members were included in the committee. Despite this, there was still a lack of trust between the ANC and the National Party government.
At the very last meeting, when our committee had a meeting with Du Plessis, all he did was demonstrate his kragdadig hate and informed the committee that he is not prepared to move even an inch towards meeting the demands that are being made by the people. Mr. Chairman, this is a clear indication that the South African government, in implementing this tax, is actually making a mockery of the whole process of negotiation. But what do we find on tax? We find that the government is actually willing to do it alone, do it on an arbitrary fashion without any consultation whatsoever.
All right, that report by SABC economics reporter Tebo Mongwai. On to this now. The Zimbabwe Association of University Teachers, known as AUT, has threatened to escalate industrial action to all 14 states' universities with the University of Zimbabwe if the government continues to ignore their grievances regarding poor wages. Now, the lecturers waged their first job boycott on April 16th. The police arrived and arrested 3 union leaders. They are demanding at least $2,500 per month for a junior lecture. Now, the same level as that they earned before October 2018. Now, for more on this, we are joined on the line by Zimbabwe Association of University Teachers, AUT, that is Professor Obvious Vengei. Professor, thank you so much for making time. We really appreciate it. Welcome to the SABC.
Oh, thank you very much, and thanks for reaching out to us.
Yeah. Perhaps let me begin by asking you, the lecturers are demanding $2,500 per month, that is US dollars, for a junior lecture. What are they currently being paid across all levels?
Thank you very much. Currently, University of Zimbabwe academic staff, and of course everybody at the University of Zimbabwe is getting $250